These are the best people of 2025. I'm Jessica Denson, and you're watching a very special New Year's Eve edition of Lights On. If you're on the East Coast, we are going to ring in the new year together, and what a place you have found to do it. This is the home of the actual movement for the answer to what our country and our world is dealing with. I am the founder of the Removal Coalition. It has been my great honor to have led a movement that has progressed unbelievably throughout 2025 with your help, with your incredible sacrifice and love for this country. And what we are going to do tonight on New Year's Eve is recap that movement. I've got clips of every single event, starting with 14th Now, which was the movement that started on this show on Lights On to try to get Congress to uphold their duty to block this heinous, illegal presidency in the first place. 2026 has got to be the year, my friends. This year, this movement got the American people, and what we're going to see at the end of this episode, to finally start reclaiming that agency, that constitutional authority of we the people, and demand that our elected representatives do something to get Donald Trump out of power now. We made massive progress. You're going to see that progress in this episode, but we started almost 1 year ago. I was doing an episode on this show, and please, if you're not already subscribed, subscribe to Lights On. Share this video. People need to see what this movement is doing, and if they're not already part of it, they need to be part of it, because like I said, we are the best people. We are the ones that are making the movement to save our country. Let's start off with how this all started 1 year ago with 14th Now.
When he takes the oath, whether with his fingers crossed or otherwise, it will be something that the Constitution says he is not qualified to do.
The reason I'm here today is because I believe Donald Trump is an illegitimate president, should never be allowed to be put into office again. I am the oldest brother of Officer Brian Sicknick of the United States Capitol Police, who was killed in the line of duty due to injuries he received while protecting the Capitol and all within it during Trump's insurrection on January 6th. My brother was not the only one who died as a result of Trump's actions that day. Other officers who were there and died at their own hand later on were Officers Gunther Hashida, Kyle DeFreitag, Howard Liebengood, and Jeffrey Smith, all who took their own lives in days following the attack. No doubt despondent over the ferocity of the attack by fellow citizens, followed by the utter lack of action by those in power to do anything about holding those who engineered and executed the January 6th insurrection responsible for their actions.
All gathered here today for the same reason, to demand that Congress uphold the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution, specifically Section 3, that states that an insurrectionist cannot be president.
Tell me, how, I'm going to say it, in the hell are we going to take the president-elect is going to take the oath on the 20th when he has dishonored it?
If there's one group who can say this, it's Congress.
Yeah. Yes.
And if there's another group who can say this, it's us.
Yes.
We're here because Merrick Garland is a coward. Yes. We're here because Christopher Wray is a coward. Yes. We're here because the Democratic Party establishment is filled with cowards.
Come on.
None of this is normal.
Did you hear about this event?
I was just going through the YouTube and I heard Jessica speak and I said, my goodness, somebody is taking some action. I want to get involved. I worked in the federal government. I was in the Air Force. My husband was in the Air Force. And I saw the sacrifices that we made to keep this country alive. And I had to get involved. And so when she came on, I said, yes, I want to join the movement.
We will never get this moment back. In 2 days, our lawmakers will decide not just the future of this country, but the future of the free world. They have the tools, the legal mechanism, not only the ability, but the obligation to stop an illegal presidency from destroying centuries of sacrifices for freedom. The only question is, do they have the courage? If we pass this unthinkable threshold into fascism, generations will look back to this very moment to see if they did.
Somebody recently asked me what was the low light of 2025, and I've got to say it was January 6th, 2025. It was like you were living in it seemed surreal that we were living in this world that had gone through everything that we had gone through with Donald Trump, his criminality, his attempted overthrow of a democratic election, his terrorist assault on the Capitol. And those lawmakers, in the name of a peaceful transfer of power, allowed the man who violated the peaceful transfer of power to come into office. So that was definitely the low light of the year for me. January 6, 2025, not seeing a single representative raise their hand in objection to this presidency, when it would only have taken 20% of that body to sustain an objection and move forward with blocking his presidency altogether. Never forget that. Every one of these moments, just like where we are now, we have to be assessing what people are capable of doing with the constitutional power that they have and how they are choosing to use it or not use it. So from that moment, I got to tell you, I had to really pick myself up and think about how I was going to stay in this country and fight, and if I was going to. And as has been the case with many of the battles that I've faced, in particular with the legal battles that I've faced with Trump for years, that's a brief thought that I might go away and not continue to fight, but it lasts but a second, but a moment. Of course, I would not leave and abandon my country. Of course, I could not walk away from this fight and this country that I love and this democracy that was being stolen before our eyes. And so one of the next things that happened, we really started the protest movement with 14th Now, and all of you that were with us in the bitter cold, God bless you for being with us before anybody else got on the streets. You started the protest movement with 14th Now, whether you were there with us in person in the bitter cold in Washington, D.C., or there with us in spirit. You stood in the breach. That makes you the absolute best people of 2025. Thank you, and congratulations to you for being a true patriot in this moment in history. We started it, and what we started became what the very first appearances of 5051 were, which was a protest on February 1st, and then another protest that was called for on President's Day of this year, February 17th. And my friend Carlos, who I've known for years, was going to the one in Washington, D.C. He had been part of calling for that day, and we joined each other together. And that is where I made an announcement for what would become the biggest protest to date yet on the National Mall in March. Here are some clips from that, one of those first 5051 D.C. protests in Washington, D.C. This is what America looks like. Love to see all these American flags out here. We are taking back our flag, and this is our country. Anybody who violates the Constitution is violating our rights and has no legal authority to do so. My name is Jessica Denson. I've spent the last 7 years of my life defeating the tyranny of Donald Trump in the courtroom. And I led a protest here on January 3rd to 5th to try to stop the certification of this illegal president who inhabits that house in violation of Section 3 of the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. He has no legal right to inhabit that office, let alone take any of the litany of illegal acts he has taken in the past 3 weeks.
We should be demanding that our elected representatives use every legal lever at their disposal to impeach and remove him yesterday. On day one of his presidency, he violated, once again, he committed treason by pardoning 7 individuals convicted of seditious conspiracy. That is an act of treason. At a bare minimum, we can initiate articles of impeachment against this man and hold that standard. They think that these legal acts are radical. Elon Musk raiding the Treasury is not radical. Too radical to impeach this man a 3rd time? I've heard a saying, it says 3rd time's a charm. Let's try it. Now, this is not an official announcement, but 314 is 14-3 in reverse, and I would like to have on 314 this kind of showing in Washington, D.C., in protest of this illegal presidency, to say we are not going to let democracy die on our watch. Every moment that these people are illegally in poisoning our government, firing our federal workers, putting people in terror over their physical and financial well-being and the free world at large. Yesterday was the anniversary of Alexei Navalny's murder by the genocidal dictator Vladimir Putin. He has allies in the so-called Vice President J.D. Vance, who is trying to terrorize our European allies. We are representing the free world right now. The entire free world is being represented by us. And generations will look back to us to see what did we do right now. Thank you all so much for putting yourself out here. Please join me again on 314, and stand up every single day to reject this illegal presidency. God bless America. God bless America.
Yeah, you're going to hear a lot from me and many others on this show tonight about gratitude. Thank you for standing up. Thank you for being there. Thank you for being willing, not being willing to do nothing, because I will tell you, in the spirit of the theme of this episode and the best people, okay, what we are suffering as a country is a collective choice. It is a collective choice as to whether we are willing to tolerate this or not. And those of you that have stood with us in 2025 have made clear that your choice is crystal clear, that you will not tolerate this. If we can amplify this movement, if we can amplify this platform of Lights On and the Removal Coalition and make the country aware of it, a lot of it is just a lack of awareness, because it is a battle, as it should not be, to even just get coverage of what we are doing, an amplification of what we are doing, then we can get out of this. It is simply a matter of having people buy in to their own agency. And that is what so many of you have beautifully done. I will tell you, I did not come to this with any experience as a protester or a protest organizer or an on-the-street activist. I was a legal activist in the court, had never organized or produced one of these events. And I simply just decided it needs to be done, and it needs to be done in a way that is explicit about messaging. I hadn't yet formed the Removal Coalition, but with 314, we were the first protest after this illegal administration took power to message clearly and distinctly removal. Here is some footage from that protest, some that you've not seen before, some behind the scenes documentary footage that was taken of our 314 Veterans March, now DC, the largest to date at the time on the National Mall, and with a wonderful, huge showing of veterans with so many partners that would become great allies throughout this fight, including Sons of Liberty. So here is that clip.
He thought they were like trying to bust him. I was like, no, all it is they don't know if they can permit it.
And then I'm actually... Okay, I'm going to bring up our... Nobody is coming to save you but you. If you're a civilian and you never served, that's fine. Guess what? You can still serve. You don't have to swear an oath. You can honor that oath. Take the freedoms that are afforded to you by the men and women who gave their lives for this country. Call your elected representatives. Write them letters. I don't care if you photocopy a thing that you typed out. You still did it. Send it to them. Do this every day. Go to their offices. Demand an audience with the people who say they represent you. If they don't represent you, primary them. Vote them out of office. Find people who do.
Don't fret, because we, the people, are going to dismantle the Trump administration.
We are going to demand, starting right now and never letting it go until it happens, that every constitutional means be used immediately to remove Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and Elon, whoever the hell, Musk from power. 314, Constitution of the United States of America, what lets us fight towards a more perfect union, that foundation, divine and human rights, merged. Abraham Lincoln said this, you've heard it. The people of these United States are the rightful masters of both Congress and the courts, not to overthrow the Constitution, but to overthrow the men who pervert the Constitution. God bless you all. Thank you all so much for your service. What an enormous honor it has been for me to have been part of organizing this day. Thank you so much for being here.
On Friday, yesterday we had it against the media at Fox News and at CNN. The other thing we've got a problem with is this institution right here. The Supreme Court is failing us, and it looks like they're under a little construction today. And let's hope that maybe it's a reconstruction of the whole new stuff. So thank you very much. Thank you for supporting veterans this weekend.
Yeah, veterans and that woman who was just speaking outside the Supreme Court are Antifa. We are Antifa. We have been saving the world from fascism for generations, and we will continue to do so. Thank you very much. That was just an epic weekend, spearheaded by myself and Cliff Cash, who extended the days beyond the 14th to include a media protest at CNN and Fox in DC on the 15th and a Heritage Foundation protest on the 16th of March. It was an incredible, incredible movement. We really kind of showed the country how it was done, and Cliff has continued so many of those Fox protests around the country. I've been to a few of them myself, having been brainwashed by Fox News for many years, and that being what led me to ever support this criminal con artist in the first place. I know more than anyone how destructive and what a disease and epidemic it is in this country, and they absolutely should be exposed for the anti-Christian, anti-American criminal network that they are. So that was just an incredible showing that we had over those 3 days. And what I found after that was that people started asking me to bring the message to other places. And I was invited on 4/5 to speak out in Los Angeles by 5051 SoCal. Now, 4-5 was kind of the first time that these larger national groups, yes, I'm talking about Indivisible, saw what was happening and really wanted to, get their hands in it and be part of it. Hands in it, no pun intended. It was called Hands Off. And this was probably the first, as you remember, major national day funded by some of these larger groups and amplified by them. Again, though, without an explicit message. I, however, of course, brought my explicit message to Los Angeles, and I want to share a little bit of that with you.
And bless you with phenomenal words. Get ready. All right, the next voice you hear is going to be the wonderful, the talented Jessica Denson. Make some noise.
Section 3 of the 14th Amendment bans insurrectionists. This man and his administration are enemies of the state. They are enemies of the Constitution, and every single ounce of energy from our lawmakers, if they are true to the oath that they have taken to uphold and defend this country from enemies foreign and domestic, should be used now to remove him from power. What are we waiting for, Los Angeles? Are we willing to wait while this man destroys our democracy? Are we willing to go through 2 or 4 more years of this assault, this blatant theft of our country and our Constitution and our rights? I'm not willing to wait. I'm fully on the side of anybody who is really pro-democracy. But if you are messaging pro-democracy, if you're going out there giving speeches, if you're even standing on the Senate floor for 25 hours, God bless Senator Cory Booker. God bless him. You need to use that opportunity to talk about the means, the constitutional means we have right now to remove this illegal president. We have an impeachment clause. Let's all join Representative Al Green in his articles of impeachment. You know what I was thinking about? I moved to this city when I was 14 years old to pursue a dream. And this city is a city of vision, a city of creativity, of art. When we make movies, we make people think outside the box about what is possible. These lawmakers in Washington need to start friggin' thinking outside of the box to get back to where we should be.
She's right.
Is a major crisis.
I'm a lawyer.
So we have a major crisis right now, and I think that we have to, as a movement,
more about the
our politicians, that we have a society in which a person works one job, they are in the prosperous middle class, whatever that job is. We need to have single-payer universal health care. We need to have free child care and free college.
Every single thing he has done is unconstitutional.
We need to have housing as a human right, and we need affordable housing for all people.
So we continue the message of 314. Thank you for all of these beautiful comments. I got to tell you, I read so many of your comments, as many of them as I possibly can, and they are absolutely beautiful and uplifting, and they are the reason that I continue to do this, because of your feedback, because of the movement that we have built and the real fruits of this. What I have up on the screen, it says, Jessica, your transformation gives others permission to look inward and the opportunity for internal and external change for self and others, grounded by love for all, in my humble opinion. Thank you so much for that. All of us are growing. That is what this life is about. And my goodness, how could I not share it with you? It really came to me years ago as a false sense of humility that was keeping me from sharing my story, keeping me from fighting for myself. And I think that would keep many now from fighting for their country because they don't think that they matter. They don't think that they have power. And you absolutely have power. My realization of the fact that that was false humility and was really a selfish thing is what ultimately got me here today, what got me victories in the courts. And you have shown, as we're showing through this, and we will show through the progress of these clips that I'm going to continue to share with you, the power that you have and the difference that you have made. We have to stay on this track in 2026. We have to get this job done. This is obscene, what we as a country and the world is subjected to right now because of the criminals like Donald Trump, Benjamin Netanyahu, and Vladimir Putin that are terrorizing and gaslighting a world. This has to end. We have the power to do it. So the next clip I want to show you is I was kind of getting warmed up for forming the removal coalition. Didn't know I was going to do it yet. I don't think I had the thought in my mind quite yet, but I had the concept there more or less. And this was on D-Day, which was a follow-up to our Veterans March. It was about the same size, but funded by a much larger organization. A union actually backed it. And we decided to have some parallel events on that day with congressional visits. That's always what this has been about. It's always been about actual lobbying, doing the actual citizen engagement that will force members of Congress to take the action that can get us out of this mess. So we made sure to make our presence known on D-Day, even though I personally and Cliff personally weren't part of that major veterans rally that they planned. And we had an event with what was at the time May Day, the 24/7 encampment for impeachment and removal. And here is a little bit of that event that morning. And that was the first time you heard me talk about Representative Al Green in the previous clip. This was the first time that I actually met him in person, and he joined us at this rally. And it would be the first of many times that he did that. And he, in fact, made a commitment to us at this rally. He made a commitment to us at this rally, which would become a habit of his. That is the power of this movement. We are moving.
I'm gonna tell you guys, you are at the forefront of an incredible movement that is going to amplify so much in the next few weeks and months. So you are here at the inception, very special place in history. We're crystal clear. And by the way, I imagine most of you are headed to the D-Day Veterans Protest. What is your demand at this protest? What's your demand? Impeach and remove. Remove Trump. Remove Vance. Remove the whole illegal administration. You hear me say it on Lights On all the time. We have to be explicit about our demands in these movements and not let these opportunities be squandered. We can affect the change that they tell us is impossible. It's not even close to impossible. We have incredible power. The power is ours. These people work for us. Thank you very much. And we're going to claim it. We are going to claim it right now and every single day until they are removed from our house. They're squatting it.
I believe that as a prosecutor in the House of Representatives, I must bring impeachment to a vote in the House of Representatives. I'm telling you, I will bring impeachment to a vote in the House of Representatives. We will not allow a tyrant to take control of democracy. This country was not built on a dictatorship. This country was built on democracy. We are the people who must fight to maintain the democracy that has made America the country it is today. This is a commitment. Jessica, you have the ears and the eyes of the masses in this country. And I want you to let them know that impeachment will take place this month in the Congress of the United States of America. This month.
How incredible is that? You know, I think it's really important to think about Representative Al Green for a moment, because I started talking about him when he stood up at last year's State of the Union and spoke out against the lies of Donald Trump from that podium and was then escorted out of the hall. And how, number one, how honorable of a man he was for having the courage to do that. And number two, how shocked I was that nobody else walked out with him, that none of his Democratic colleagues joined him. And Representative Al Green started talking about impeachment very early on. But what he has been doing, the way he has been standing alone and standing out, is not easy. As much of a pro as he makes it look like, and as much of a hero and honorable public servant he is, that is not an easy feat. And I think I can say this, I think he wouldn't mind me saying this actually at all. We have really helped him and given him permission and given him the support that he deserves to do what he did at that first rally he joined us at back in June, to come on a stage with us because of our movement, because of the visible demand of we the people, to say, I, Congressman Green, will not just take these articles of impeachment that I have promised to file, but I will force a vote on it, and I will do it by the end of this month. Actually having the immediacy of what this moment demands. It demands immediate action. It does not tolerate waiting. And because of us and because of the support that we showed, he did that there, and he followed through on that commitment. By the end of June, he forced a vote. He actually had already filed articles of impeachment for authoritarianism. They were based in the illegal kidnapping of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who was sent to CONVICT in El Salvador, the unthinkable torture concentration camp where this illegal administration is sending innocent people with no criminal records. So it was based on that. He filed a second article of impeachment over the illegal strike on Iran that Trump conducted without congressional approval in June, and forced a vote on that as he had promised. Now that vote only got 78 Democrats to support it. Only 78. Keep that number in mind, because I'm going to tell you towards the end of this episode, I know we've got 20 minutes to the new year. So if we're getting there and you're on the East Coast, well, I'll make sure to pause so we can ring it in together. But keep that in mind. 78 votes in June from Democrats. That's it, out of over 200 Democrats in that body. However, 78 is more than the amount of votes from Democrats that Al Green got the first time he filed articles of impeachment and forced a vote in Trump's first administration. So even with that low number, it was progress. It was major progress, and you're going to see the even greater progress that we've made. So what I decided after that, and I was already kind of envisioning it, I think actually now that I'm remembering, at that rally, at the D-Day event, I knew I was going to start the Removal Coalition. And it was another thing where I didn't think too much about it. I thought I had the idea, I bought the domain, I started getting partners, and we were off to the races. There's no over strategizing or overthinking. You just take action. The right idea is what our intuition is telling us to do, and we just have to act on it. So by this first No Kings, which if you remember was June 14th, I was again partnering with the 5051 SoCal folks in Los Angeles. They invited me again to come and speak. We streamed the rally on Lights On, and I decided to take that opportunity to announce the Removal Coalition. And I got to tell you, first of all, I have never been in a crowd like that. It was unbelievable. About 200,000 people in downtown Los Angeles. Incredible energy of rejection of this administration, outright rejection. And that is what I have always wanted to do with the Removal Coalition, is harness that energy, because I know all the people in that crowd want what you're about to hear me ask them if they want. Here you go.
This crowd, is there anybody who is not in favor of removing Donald Trump? Is everybody here in favor of removing Donald Trump? to your representatives in Congress. You need to ask them if they are not backing impeachment and removal now. What the hell are they waiting for? That is what this movement represents. We're not just going to mitigate the sabotage of democracy. We are here to end it. God bless you. God bless Los Angeles. Stay in your power.
And remember, all along the emperor has no clothes. He's a deranged, lonely man whose every weakness is exposed. That should make the choice of every oath taker so clear. Choose dignity, self-respect, freedom, love over fear. No luxury here to equivocate and cower. It's time to remove this illegal regime from power!
Let's move on to the next event, which was actually the very first event of the Removal Coalition. So I set it up. One of our first partners, which we met at the D-Day, we met a lot of great allies at the D-Day event in DC, was 5051 Miami. And we had a really, not a huge, but a really powerful protest in the pouring rain. God bless everybody that came out with us in the pouring rain. It was actually, they attempted to derail us. The poor guy that calls himself a proud boy, Enrique Tarrio, who was convicted for his crimes relating to January 6th and pardoned by Donald Trump, is now a content creator and influencer. That's the big boys that these guys are. And he showed up and tried to make a scene at our event, didn't do anything but amplify us. And we ended up having a really successful event in spite of the rain and everything. This was the first, what we called Rally for Removal, Reclaim Freedom on Independence Day with 5051 Miami. And it was covered by many of the local news stations. You're going to hear in a minute from one of them.
And then Enrique Tarrio crashed the protest wearing a chicken suit. He's a far-right provocateur convicted for his role in the Capitol insurrection, but pardoned by Trump. What's your message?
I'm here for no kings. I'm for that. We don't have kings in the United States. We haven't had kings for 250 years. And today, the 4th of July proves that.
Former Trump supporter Jessica Denson pointed at Tarrio and his pardon as a reason to impeach the president again.
He committed the greatest act of treason by pardoning several individuals convicted of seditious conspiracy, along with this clown and all of his friends.
Of course, Tarrio's presence was designed to create a scene, and he accomplished that goal. But Miami police officers made sure everything was peaceful and everyone was able to exercise their First Amendment rights, just as our founding fathers intended. We're live in Miami. Ari Odzer, NBC6 News.
So there you go. First Removal Coalition event. I think we have time to play this clip before we ring in the new year together. This is actually from Good Trouble Day, which was hosted by a coalition of networks across the country. It was a national day that was called We at the Removal Coalition partnered with 5051 DC. And as a preempt to the actual event where myself and John Bonifaz from Free Speech for People and Representative Al Green came and spoke, we had congressional visits with Flair. One of those first epic congressional visits.
I want to hear you say it. You're working for a...
I won't say I'm working for a Nazi as a Jewish American. I won't say that.
Okay.
As a Jewish American, I would think that this moment is especially resonant for you.
And accountability is going to come.
The kind of fascist tactics. I literally worked for Donald Trump. I was riding on his campaign plane sitting next to the man in 2016. Okay? I understand the mental miasma that you and your colleagues are in. You need to wake up and understand the damage that your name, my friend, that you to be tied to the destruction of American democracy. Take your soul back. Take your freedom back. Do something bold. Imagine if every one of these staffers in this building, they were here to have PTSD because of the assault, the filthy, vile, fascist assault Trump waged on this building to stay in power when the people didn't want it. Imagine if every one of them, instead of cowering and being silent as you are right now, said, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to let this happen on my watch. I'm going to go to sleep at night. Do you know that Auschwitz was preceded by the kind of migrant detention camps that are happening right now in this country, in Germany in the 30s?
Yeah, I do know Holocaust history.
Do you know that 66% of the detainees in Alligator Alcatraz are not?
I don't know the statistics off the top of my head.
Yeah, that's no due process.
No due process.
I have to run, but I want to
Okay.
thank you for listening.
Yeah.
I want you to take what we said to you to heart. I want you to share it with your boss and the rest of the staff and anybody you run into in this building. This is the moment, all right? You know Nuremberg. You know how people had to reckon at those trials after all of the atrocities. This is the moment of decision.
I was just doing my job.
So what's after? Well, thank you guys for stopping in. I'll let
Get a
you
new
know.
job, brother. Please let him know, and then maybe get a new job.
I have learned that on some issues of importance, they are so sacred, as John put it, but there are some issues so important that it is better to stand alone than not stand at all. I will stand alone. I will fight for you. Will you fight with me? Will you stand up against Donald Trump and make sure that he is removed from office?
Let me ask you this. How many of you want Donald Trump and his administration removed from office now? Okay, because I've heard the excuse that there is not enough energy in this country, not enough support for removing this criminal fascist regime from power. Is there enough support for removing Trump from power?
We have a message for Donald Trump today. We are not afraid of you. You are a lawless, reckless, wannabe tyrant. You have committed high crimes against the state. We will hold you accountable. You must be impeached and removed from public office.
It's been quite a year of resistance. You saw us walking through the streets of DC. I'll tell you, we have spanned the gamut of weather. We have gone from freezing and not being able to feel our feet to sweating and just dripping because it is so hot and humid in Washington, DC. I know there's people across the country that are bearing all kinds of different weather, all kinds of different circumstances to be out there and to not let democracy die on our watch. God bless you. Take these last few moments of 2025 to appreciate what you have done and what your neighbors have done for this country in 2025. This has been a lawless, horrific, obscene, ludicrous year in American history, but not because of us. We have shown love, we have shown resolve, we have shown courage, we have shown uncompromising tenacity, unwillingness to stand idle and stand by as our democracy is robbed from us. And we are building the courage. Many of us already had it. Some of us needed to get to a certain place and we're still getting there. It's okay, but we got to hurry up and do it now because we have such a short window of time. Speaking of a short window of time, we got a few seconds left in 2025. If you're on the East Coast of the United States of America, 2025, the first year that the United States of America had an illegal president sworn into office. Let us resolve in these final moments to not let there be another year in American history of this atrocity and to get him the hell out. No more words. 2026 has got to be about action. It has got to be about impeachment, conviction, and removal. And if you have another nonviolent alternative, tell me about it and I'll be its biggest champion. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy 2026. Let your light shine in this year more than anything. And let that mean letting your power show, claiming your power, claiming your agency, and demanding so much more than you ever thought you could before. Because I'm telling you, my friends, there is so much more for us than what we are living through right now. Let 2026 be the year that we realize that fully. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Again, I just want to say, in this past year, as stressful and frightening as so many things have been, I have found my greatest peace and equanimity in action. Like I often tell you, I don't have time to be scared because I'm too busy. I'm too busy doing something about it. And so I would submit to you, if you are not yet involved, and so many of you are, and it's been so beautiful to stand alongside you in this, if you are not yet involved in doing something, and specifically, like I said on last week's show, it's not that we have been asking for too much, it's that we've been asking for too little. Once you start claiming your own worth and claiming our worth as a nation and our worth as a democracy, that will give you true solace and peace. Let's do that in 2026. I'm going to continue by showing you just the waymarks of this incredible movement. One of the great partners of the Removal Coalition, not an actual member, but a partner, has been Free Speech for People. And they, on day one of this administration, illegal administration, started a petition for impeachment and impeachtrumpagain.org. You're looking there at John Bonifaz, the president of Free Speech for People. He's been such an ally. You know, he's been on Lights On so many times, and we've tracked the progress of that petition. Once it hit almost 1 million signatures, we went to Washington, D.C. You were just there watching clips of the press conference that we had there at the Capitol to deliver those 1 million signatures to Congress, to tell them this is what the American people are demanding. Donald Trump, even at that point, had committed over 20 impeachable offenses that they have documented. I'm sure there's many more. I think they're up to 25 at this point. It is obscene that any lawmaker is not acting upon these. That is, they are not taking action. They've made us believe that the more Donald Trump normalizes illegality and criminality and exploiting the White House for personal gain and digging up the east wing of the White House to build a ballroom. I think it's actually a data center, to build a data center and a fortress that has executive immunity from any kind of scrutiny, that is committing extrajudicial murders on the Caribbean, that is sending migrants who have done absolutely nothing wrong to concentration camps and countries, third world countries, where they will likely be prosecuted or killed. There's no time to wait. The more that he normalizes illegality and unconstitutionality, that doesn't mean the less that we invoke the constitutional remedy. We normalize impeachment. And that's what we have been doing at the Removal Coalition. That's what Free Speech for People has been doing, standing beside us. That's what we did at the first Remove the Regime, which I was starting to tell you about a minute ago. Here is that event, which, as I mentioned, was the first Remove the Regime that broke the record for congressional lobbying for impeachment. The Handmaid Army, one of our incredible, beautiful members of the coalition, was there with us. And we had incredible visits and rallies that day.
We either have a constitution or we don't, as my friend John Bonifaz says. We either have an impeachment clause or we don't. If we are not using the constitutional remedy for a tyrant in this moment, we are losing our Constitution right before our eyes. Right. I know that there is leadership in that building on the Democratic side that does not want to hear about impeachment. Don't touch the conversation about impeachment till the midterms. Oh, no. We're going to threaten some of our more vulnerable members. I have a wake-up call for them. There is nothing that makes them more vulnerable than standing down in this moment. This country is looking for leadership. This country is looking for action. This country is not waiting for midterms that may not even happen to deal with this authoritarian president. I told you about that international perspective. I'm just going to share this long, nice note from one of my viewers on Lights On. Throughout these years, I always looked up to the United States as the symbol of freedom, democracy, and justice. Eventually, I made my way to what was once the great America, a nation I believe represented the highest ideals of human dignity and liberty. But today, what I see pains me deeply. Perhaps even more than it pains many Americans. The America I admired has been disfigured before my eyes. To witness Americans endure this abuse so passively, almost mildly, is heartbreaking. Our democracy, the very foundation of America's greatness, is under grave threat. As long as a disgraced, criminally convicted figure remains in power, the nation cannot claim to be a true democracy. Instead, it resembles a collapsing state. Wake up, folks. This is what we're living through in 2025 in America right now. A collapsing state. One where the rule of law has been abandoned in favor of cultish loyalty and demagoguery. America tragically now mirrors the dysfunction of a third world country, not in wealth or technology, but in democratic credibility. If America is to reclaim its place as a beacon of hope for the world, it must awaken from this dangerous slumber. Silence in the face of tyranny is complicity, and the time to resist is now!
Lynn, you were telling me about coming today.
This is the first rally I have been to since Trump's been reelected, and I've been to dozens of rallies. And this is the first one where I feel like the leaders are ahead of me and they're bringing us along, and it feels great. No more decorum, no more let's wait and see, no more let's bring the middle, let's fucking go.
Thank you, Lynn. So I just want to pass on the message that when Hakeem Jeffries voted against Al Green's article for impeachment, voted to table that, I think a lot of Americans were in shock. They were in shock when the Democratic leadership was rallying their own, whipping their own members to vote against the impeachment of this authoritarian, illegal president. Shocked. I know a lot of the leadership right now thinks that their winning strategy for the midterms is waiting and keeping some members safe, not putting impeachment on the table until the midterms. I'm going to tell you something. You're living in a fantasy land if anybody thinks that we're going to have uninterrupted midterms in this country. But even if we do, if we're lucky enough to, and we do everything to pull out the vote and make it happen, you know what people are going to vote for? They're going to vote for fighters that are fighting right now, that are not waiting until after you have your seats in power. Hakeem Jeffries, every single one of the representatives in this body could force a vote on impeachment any single day of the week. Any single day of the week. Imagine the narrative shift that could happen in this country if the Democrats were unified for removal. Imagine. Yes. Imagine if that was the narrative. This entire Democratic caucus wants this man removed. It's what the people want. Over 50% of this country. What is wrong with leadership on the so-called pro-democracy side who is not taking this stand now? We cannot wait for the midterms. The moment is now. Please understand the gravity. Please pass that on to the leader. Please ask him to step up. It's never too late, but we're waiting, or we are running out of time.
Okay, and what's your name?
Jessica Denson, Removal
Jake,
Coalition. Jake, nice to meet you. So many friends, old and new, at that first Remove the Regime. One of those last photos you saw was from the Burning River Brigade that comes up with those large red letter signs. They go up on overpasses. They come with a great team of people to bring them out at our protests. They are tireless. They are without excuse. Shout out to Kayla, who literally just finished a cancer treatment and didn't skip a beat before joining us at the second Remove the Regime. These people are just so full of heart. I'm so grateful to have Linus and Kayla and everybody from the Burning River Brigade in the Removal Coalition. You also saw a photo there of some of the original OGs from 14th Now that were there with us in the beginning in the bitter, bitter cold. You saw Shelly and Sharon and Kelly, some of the truest patriots that I've gotten to know over this year of 2025. You, my friends, are truly the best people, as I will continue to say, the best people. And then that last clip that I had up there was where I joined Flair the day after Remove the Regime for a protest at AIPAC. Because one thing that has been so sickening over all of this is to see the silence on the genocide in Gaza. And even sometimes within the resistance, there has been reluctance to embrace the movement for dignity for the Palestinian people, just pure dignity, as they are absolutely obliterated and criminally massacred by Benjamin Netanyahu, backed by Donald Trump. It's been unthinkable. It's been unthinkable what Netanyahu has done to his own people and how he made his own hostages suffer. It's unthinkable that there's a so-called peace deal as Gaza continues to suffer from the violations of the lawless and fascist Israeli regime that is much like Donald Trump. It's unthinkable that somebody like Donald Trump is in charge right now of the welfare of the people of Gaza, as his son, Jared Kushner, is openly going around the world. And who is this guy anyway, Jared Kushner, to have any authority to negotiate on behalf of the United States, going around the world, making deals for his own business so he can next build a condo resort on the Gaza Strip. And God knows what he has in mind for the people of Ukraine. He's now negotiating peace for Ukraine as we are forcing that poor nation into ceding territory that belongs to them. It is unthinkable that any of this has gone on. So we have to stand up, not just for our country, but for our world, for the hope that the United States of America is for the rest of the world. I shared this with you last week about my international travels and how it just renewed my perspective of how much I love this country and how irreplaceable, as flawed as we are, how irreplaceable the United States of America is. We cannot let it fall in 2026. We have to go into this year with a vengeance, with peaceful a vengeance, to not tolerate this anymore. Let me pull up the next clip. This is going to be a full show, but I wanted to just give you the whole picture of what this movement has done this year, or last year, I should say now. This is going to be from the We Are America March. This is a group that literally got people together to march on foot to return the Constitution of the United States to Congress, because they seem to have forgotten it. And the We Are America March, I was very happy to have them join the Removal Coalition. And I went and spoke for their reception rally in DC, along with Representative Al Green. Here is a clip from that. By the way, this was the first protest, widely publicized, or, major protest after Charlie Kirk's shooting. And you could tell a lot of people were afraid to come out. But I was very grateful to be there. I was very grateful that Representative Al Green, Jolly Good Ginger, Harry Dunn, I think Senator, blanking on his name right now, I'll remember on the other side, one senator showed up. It was really great to see the people who weren't afraid to show up then, and who are not threatened by any showing of political violence, as gaslit as we may be about the cause of any of these things. So this is a clip from the We Are America March in September.
I'm so happy to be here with you today, but this is disgusting. Are you disgusted that we have to do this? Are you disgusted that we have to walk 160 miles on foot to get these people in their air-conditioned, comfortable offices in suits
to simply honor their oath, to simply file an article of impeachment, to simply force a vote. We must use the constitutional means that we have. Their inaction is deadly. Can today be a turning point in our country? Can that 160-mile sacrifice that you just made on foot to return this Constitution to this body that seems to have forgotten it, wake them the hell up and get them to take action?
So now I, Al Green, will sign, and here's what I will say to the people who will read this. It can done.
Yes, it can be done. Yes.
It can be done.
It can be done, yes.
And we can do it. It can be done. We can do it. We are the people. This is our Edmund Pettus Bridge moment. Let us take advantage of it and protect democracy. And let us thank Jessica and the people who put this together. Jessica leads the impeachment coalition movement, and it is growing in numbers. And I also want to thank a friend who's not here, John Boniface. John is the constitutional lawyer who has helped me with drafting the articles of impeachment that we filed. And I assure you, there is another one on the way.
So once again, that other one that was on the way that eventually came, as you will hear in a moment, was because of our movement, was because of what we did and the pressure and uplifting that we gave to Congressman Al Green. One event that we had before the seminal Remove the Regime was No Kings 2.0, which was on October 18th. And we have a lot of members of the Removal Coalition around the country, and I was encouraged, as many of them as possible, to embrace Remove the Regime as their mantra for No Kings. You know, just because there's another coalition that has called for these, there's no reason why we can't use these opportunities at all of these protests to message removal. And that's what our friends in Miami and Alabama and SoCal and DC did for No Kings 2.0. I was once again, there's Hunter Dunn from 5051 SoCal and 5051 National. Once again, with my friends there in Los Angeles, we had some great representation for the Removal Coalition. We promoted Remove the Regime. I did anyway, very, very loudly to, again, a crowd of hundreds of thousands of people, and encouraged everybody to be explicit about the demand to take these opportunities like these national protests to make it clear what we're about. We're not just exercising our First Amendment rights, we're exercising our agency and the fact that we, the people, control this country. And right now it's being run by a ruthless dictator who has no legal authority to be there. And we need to exercise our right to remove him. So it was a beautiful event. It was a lot of fun. I got to tell you, I was on the moving truck through the streets of Los Angeles that was provided by SEIU. SEIU was a great partner for that No Kings in LA. And almost every speaker was 100% on board with the message of removal. The singers, the mariachi singers, the other performers were all talking about removing Trump from office. Why not just make this the message of every protest? Why not make this the national call? Can you imagine what even greater progress we would have made as a country if the whole country and all of these movements had embraced and amplified what we are doing here on Lights On and with the Removal Coalition? The media wouldn't be able to ignore it. Congress wouldn't be able to ignore it. That's all we would be talking about, is how to impeach and remove Trump from office. And it's simply up to us. Think about who's helping us along with that and who is not in 2026. Choose your allies. Demand even that your friends and allies do more and do better, because there is no time to waste, no time whatsoever. So here we are at what is the highlight of 2025 for me, the absolute highlight. It was, of course, Remove the Regime, 11/20/22 in Washington, D.C. We summoned tens of thousands of people, between 20 and 40,000 was the high estimate that I got, of people to Washington, D.C. with one explicit demand: impeach, convict, remove. You're about to hear it from a number of our incredible speakers at this event because of our movement, because I personally asked him, and he had the dignity and honor and true public servant mentality and attitude to give me the answer that we needed. He committed at our event to filing and forcing a vote. Representative Al Green did, on new articles of impeachment before Christmas. We'll tell you how that worked out. First, let me just show you some of the incredible footage from Remove the Regime.
Work is to help congressional leaders, both in the Senate and the Congress, to get a backbone, to stop running around acting like they're afraid of the president, and to understand that we, the people, are more powerful than this president will ever be.
I hear these pundits and elected officials saying, just wait until the midterms. When history is being erased and the people's house is being demolished now. You don't wait for a midterm. You ante up and kick in like we're doing right now. And since we're here in Washington, D.C., just a few blocks from the people whose salaries we pay, let's make damn sure they hear us when we demand that they do their jobs. Protect this country. Protect the people you swore to serve. Protect our democracy. And listen closely, because tens of thousands of voices are about to make it very simple for you. Impeach, convict, and remove. Let me hear it. Impeach, convict, remove. This movement is not small. This is not some fringe fad, and it sure as hell isn't quiet. It's the majority of Americans who are tired of being ignored, and we're tired of this administration. We don't wait for your permission. We don't wait for someone else or some scandal to save our democracy. We protect it, we defend it, we demand it, and we want it today. So one more time, raise your voices with me. Impeach, convict Donald Trump, and remove that son of a bitch from office. And we gather here today to say, for the sake of the health and existential life of our great nation and the well-being of the planet, Donald Trump must be removed. What the president has said when he talked about death and hanging members of Congress is an abomination. It is reprehensible. It is despicable. And it is impeachable. It is impeachable. And I want you to know that as your member of Congress, before we take the break for Christmas, I give you my assurance that there will be articles of impeachment filed against this president. A president who wants to be an authoritarian, who is devolving our democracy into a dictatorship. He must be impeached. He must be convicted. He must be removed. We cannot wait. We can wait until it's too late. We can wait until the constitutional rights that we have now have been degraded to the extent that they are meaningless. This is the time. We are the people. He is the president who should be impeached. This is our watch. We cannot wait until some other time, hoping that things will get better in the meantime. No, things are not getting better. Things are getting worse. We must convict. We must impeach. We must have him removed, and we want him removed to make him an example for any future authoritarian who believes that he can take control of the government of the United States of America.
We the people matter. This still matters. I want to hear it. Fire me up. Impeach, convict, remove. Impeach, convict, remove. Impeach, convict, remove. Impeach, convict, remove. I spent 25 years serving in uniform for this country, and I have fought in every war that this country has fought in for the last quarter century. And not once did I see someone with the last name of Trump overseas carrying a weapon and defending our nation. When I hung up my uniform, I did not hang up my oath.
You know, there are oppressive laws that our founding was designed, divinely inspired to do away with. And then there is oppressive thinking. There is mental slavery. There is hypnosis. And I'm telling you, what is going on right now is an attempt to keep the American people in a state of hypnosis. In a state of not being aware of their human and divine rights. They have counted on us being trapped in this hypnotic state where we forget our power, where we forget who we are. But the American people have not forgotten who we are. We are in charge of this nation, and we will decide its future. You are all here today because you have self-respect. You have dignity. You love yourselves and you love this country. There are so many diagnoses out there for the daily abominations of this illegal administration. So many diagnoses about how they are violating the Constitution, and yet they will not give us the remedy. Well, here the hell is the remedy! I have news for anyone on either side of the aisle, and I am including the most popular and lauded members of the Democratic Party. It is no longer sufficient to go on cable news and get your hit, to get your popular sound bites, to do your TikTok videos. We want articles of impeachment filed, and we want them filed
now! There you go. But look, where are we at right now? The day goes on, the year goes on. Our feelings, it doesn't stop because our feelings are hurt. We always show up, our resiliency, and that's what this is about right now. Resiliency, showing up, meeting the moment. I'm not one to gaslight people. I don't know how this is going to play out, but I do know one thing. If we do nothing, if we sit on our hands and hope that those people, those incompetent people get it together, we don't stand much of a chance. But if we continue to show up and refuse to go away quietly, we're not going to do it. We are going to always show up. We're going to meet this moment, and we are going to impeach. Yeah. I'll end with one more thing, y'all. A lot of people want to give up. I get it. I have been exhausted. You're right. We're not right. But a lot of people want to. We feel it. I mean, let's be honest with each other. I am sick of protesting every fucking weekend. I'm sick of, but it's necessary. And we need people to stand up and meet the moment when it's necessary. A lot of people that want to quit, I'll tell you this. You all can quit when you see me or my buddy Michael Fanone quit. Spoiler alert, it's not fucking happening. So thank you all. God bless America. God bless you all.
The reality is that we, the people, the voters, have been resisting more than the people that we elected. We have borne the brunt of what this administration is doing, and we are tired of it. So to our representatives, we don't want any more excuses. We don't want to hear that impeachment is unpopular, because it's not. And guess what? You're a leader. You better lead. We don't want to hear that you're worried about your re-election. Our lives are more important than your campaign. And you don't deserve our votes. You earn it. And I guarantee that if you came to cowardice, someone else will step up to take your place. And we do not want to hear that there is no cause to impeach this tyrant. Donald Trump has strangled our economy with tariffs without congressional approval. He has deployed our forces against the American people. He violates international law, targeting civilians and cozying up to dictators. So answer to the people. Turn away from decades of political failure. Impeach this president, and we can make history by building a better future.
We took part in the first No Kings rally. We were in Europe during the second one. We played in Boston, and one of the reasons that we were so interested in this one, because it was taking the stakes up a little bit, asking for removal and impeachment, and we want to be part of that. It's great to walk around and feel each other's presence and feel like-minded people, but there's got to be an end game, man, you know? The end game is to freaking get back to normal here in America.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. And thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. That's the main thing that I want to say to you is thank you. Thank you for being here today. It wouldn't matter if you didn't come. It wouldn't matter. I know it's not cheap. I know it's not easy. I know it's not free. I know it's not convenient to get to the nation's capital, but you did it anyway because you're willing to do more than nothing. You're unwilling.
I will end with this warning to Donald Trump and to MAGA. If you think we can't stop you. If you think we can't win. In the immortal words of the president you wish you were, yes, we can. 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 Yes, we can.
Once again, I'm Jessica Denson, founder of the Removal Coalition. Cliff Cash on behalf of the entire Removal Coalition. We love you. Thank you. God bless America.
I'm here because we got a tyrant in office. We got a bunch of Nazis that have hijacked the GOP. And it's embarrassing for us that have read the Bible before. Because look, Jesus didn't say deport the immigrant. He said welcome the immigrant. He also didn't say, he said love thy neighbor. He didn't say deport thy neighbor and hate thy neighbor. What we have is a bunch of Nazis, like I said, that have hijacked what used to be a decent group of people. We're ready for Donald Trump to be gone. We want this guy gone now. We ain't waiting 3 more years.
I am what democracy looks like.
I am what democracy looks like.
I am what democracy looks like.
You are what democracy looks like, and you did a beautiful job of showing your power and your light and your brilliance and your love this year. I want to echo the sentiment of all of the speakers that you just heard. Thank you so much for coming out. Thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you for your faith. Thank you for your love. Thank you for everything that you have done to make this possible. Let me tell you what you made possible because of how you showed up and stood out. We had an impeachment vote that happened in December that got a 77% surge in support. 77% surge in support from that vote back in June, which had only 78 Democrats supporting it. This time, 147 Democrats voted against tabling it. That means in support, and another 40 voted present because that's what the leadership told them to do. I had a whole episode talking about why that was a cowardly move, but ultimately it was 187 up from 78 voting against tabling that article. That is incredible progress and incredibly fast progress in the march for impeachment and removal. And it is because of what you have done. It is because of what this movement has done. I want to give a special thanks also to the artists that joined us for Remove the Regime. Earth to Eve, Dropkick Murphys. How incredible was it to have them there? So talented. They made it so enjoyable, so much fun. We also had Gwen Levy and The Breakdown join us from Nashville for our after party. Freedom Futures Collective, All Strike, and Earth to Eve performed again. Thank you to everybody, all of the creators, all of the partners of the Removal Coalition. I can't thank you enough. All of the documentarians and photojournalists, you know who I'm talking about. Chance Meeting, Trayvon Caesar, Jose Mejia, Stephen Heller, Matthew Wagner, Allison Bailey, Astrid. So many incredible documentarians have been along with us in this journey. A lot of them formed a new collective under Al Media. So if you see Al Media, that's Chance, Astrid, Jose, Caesar, Matt. They're all under that umbrella doing incredible work documenting this resistance and this movement. They've interviewed a number of us so many times. They're putting out a documentary called Days of Dissent that I'm sure will be something to look very forward to in 2026. And as I mentioned, your movement had an incredible impact. I want you to hear from Al Green talking about just how meaningful and what a milestone it was to have that success on impeachment when he followed through with that commitment and forced that vote in December before Christmas. Here again is Representative Al Green.
As to thank the 140 persons who on yesterday voted to support H-Res 939, House Resolution 939. This resolution, House 939, impeaching Donald John Trump, President of the United States, for high crimes and misdemeanors. I rise to thank the 140 persons who supported this resolution. I rise to thank the 47 persons who did not oppose what we were doing, but chose to simply say, I will vote present. That was a significant vote as well. I rise to thank them. All of these persons had the courage to say to Donald John Trump, things are changing in this country. You are likely to face a vote of 218 more persons who would vote to have you impeached. I rise to thank them for their courage. But I also rise with my cane in hand to thank two people. I want to thank John Boniface. John Boniface, constitutional scholar par excellence. John Boniface has something that many other constitutional scholars just don't have. They're brilliant. They can elucidate and explain to you the Federalist Papers in great detail. They can tell you why you shouldn't or why you should do something. But they don't have the courage of John Boniface. John Boniface, I thank you for what you have done to help me move impeachment to the floor of the House of Representatives for a vote. I want history to know who you were. I want people to know that you left big tracks in the sands of time. I want people to know that you came from one direction and that you proceeded to another, a righteous direction. I want people to know who you are. I want people to know who Jessica Denson is, who is the mother, founder of the Removal Coalition, who believes that impeachment, conviction, and removal, that's a part of the process, but it is also the solution. Jessica Denson is a courageous woman who has a voice that is sometimes amazing to me in terms of how she so clearly articulates the issues of our time. I want people to know that she had the courage to be there when we were in front of the Lincoln Monument, to be there, to be the key, the cornerstone of the movement that caused us to get to the Lincoln Monument. That she was there to support, but also to push for impeachment, conviction, and removal. She is truly one of the great patriots of our time. I thank you for your courage. I also want to thank the millions of people now who are associating themselves with this courage of Boniface, with this courage of Denson, with this courage of the 140 who on yesterday voted to support H-Res 939, of the 47 who also took a position that I appreciate greatly. There is courage. I have to mention courage because these things don't happen simply because you want them to. It is not easy to do what we did yesterday. It is not. There are all sorts of forces, cross currents, winds, all sorts of energy pushing back. Don't do it. Yesterday, in spite of a lot of admonitions, people marched on. People marched on and they took a courageous vote. A vote that is going to be marked as a seminal moment in time. A vote that will have an impact on the rest of time. Because it sent a message to a reckless, ruthless, lawless president, indicating that your time in office as a reckless, ruthless, lawless president, that time, your days are numbered.
Your days are numbered, Donald Trump. That's our message for you in 2026. Thank you, Representative Al Green, for your unique courage in this moment. You should not be standing alone on this anymore. It's absolutely ludicrous that Representative Al Green has been the only member of that body of over 400 men and women who has been willing to both file and force a vote on articles of impeachment. I know that Representative Al Green will continue to do it, and those numbers will continue to rise. But he should not be the only one doing that. I want you to raise the standard in 2026. Get on those phones, 202-224-3121, 202-224-3121. That is the congressional switchboard. Let their voicemails be full when they get back from their holiday recess to requests and demands for impeachment and removal. Be very specific. Say, we want articles of impeachment filed, and we want you to force a vote. As you know from watching Lights On, every single member of the House of Representatives has the unique privilege of forcing a vote on articles of impeachment. They don't have to be in leadership. They don't have to be in the majority. They need to start doing their jobs. They need to start honoring their oath, and we're going to make them do it like never before in 2026. Please, my friends, be relentless, be ready in 2026. You know, we've done a lot of big planning for protests over this past year. I know more than anyone, I know what goes into it. It was an unbelievable undertaking to plan 314, to plan Remove the Regime and spearhead them. I'm thinking in 2026 about being a lot more nimble with these protests and being able to show up more spontaneously and consistently with this message repeatedly of remove the regime, impeach, convict, remove. Look at the progress that we've made and the real results that we can achieve if we hasten this movement. With that note, thank you all so much for being in this with me. Thank you to the members of the Lights On Jessica Denson YouTube channel. Thank you to everyone that has financially supported and made these protests possible. Thank you to everybody that has contributed to my ongoing legal fight at thejessicadenson.com/donate, which I am continuing into 2026. Thank you to everybody that has bought merch. And if you want to continue to do that, you can do that at thejessicadenson.com. We have all kinds of great merch to represent what we are actually fighting for in this movement. You can find that all at thejessicadenson.com. More than anything, thank you for being you. Thank you for being the best people of 2025. Let's do that more than ever in 2026. Let your light shine. Let your power be known. My friends, happy New Year.